So shoulder pry is like a variation of technical mount slash S mount. So I want to go underneath here and get head control and then go arm dip here. So we're just going to be pinning this arm to the ground and giving nice cross fit. Same thing, if he's framing on me, I can use my forearm to pin. So whether his arm is down, I can go to the wrist or the elbow. I prefer the wrist. You're going to start walking up and getting a nice cup here onto his armpit, like this. So I want to start elevating his head. Then we're going to bring his wrist up, and then we're going to punch. Punch, and go 1 and 2. Bring my knee behind his shoulder, and go to this almost modified S-mount position from here. So you'll notice how Fami's head is pinned by my forearm, and I'm pushing into the ground right here, keeping that pressure. And then my hips are going forward, and I'm kind of like, I'm not in technical mount, I'm more of like in a modified S mount, right? So I'm going to post my hand, bring my foot over. The first one we're going to do is just a standard armbar. So we're going to release this, drive my knee to the ground. I'm going to cup his arm and pinch, and then I'm going to finish right here as I rotate my elbow back here. And this is hard because even if he bridges, I can finish this before he finishes, or if I want more pressure, bring my shin over and finish right there. So again, we have this arm is trapped on this side. We're going shoulder. If you want to just walk, and you don't need to bypass here because they're not moving as much, that's fine. Walk, punch, 1, 2, knee, there. So now I'm going to go foot, drive my knee to the ground, I cup and I pinch right here. That's 1, that's 2. And it's super tight. One more time for that shoulder pry. So head control, cross face. Pinning this to the ground. I like to do this secondary position here so it doesn't move as much. I'm going to walk this up, drive my fist to the ground, let him turn. If I drop my fist and I keep all my weight on him, nothing happens. This is all that happens. So I want to release a little bit of weight as I drive my fist to the ground, and I'm going to reinforce it with 2 fists. I go 1 and 2. Then I can post, over, knee, and then I pin 1 or 2. Okay? So we'll start with that. That's just our standard shoulder pry position from mount. Any questions? All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we'll get into triangle, standard triangle. So there's 3 triangles we're going to do. The standard front, we're going to do side triangle, then we're going to do reverse triangle. All of them have a very, very small adjustments. So head control, cross face, pin, you can control here, walk, driving, 1 and 2 here. So for the first one, we're going to pass our foot, we're going to grab our ankle. So in order for us to do this one, I want you to drive your knee all the way to the ground. So we're going to cup this up, we're going to drive and then rotate. Watch how my hips go to my left as the arm passes in front of my body here. Then I lean forward, I lock, and then I sit back. So either I can finish on mounted triangle like this, or I can fall all the way back and do the standard triangle, sorry. And then underhook, and then go. Sorry. So there's a big difference between side triangle and mounted triangle. So here, walking, boom, 1, 2, and here, posting. This foot goes over, and I keep this nice and tight. I want to pinch this tight because I want to be able to pull his head. If I pull his head from here, I'm going to have to go all the way around the corner, and he can just bring his arm up and then start defending. So I want to keep this tight. We're going to pull and drive my knee in, and then I rotate my hips as I pass the arm to my left here. Notice how I'm past my knee to heel and up here. Then I lean forward, I lock, and then I finish. If I want to fall to my back to do the standard triangle, I can get my angle and go. 9 more times for me. Sure. Go. Pin, walk. 1, 2, go. I'm pulling this tight. Driving, arm, rotating, posting, and then I'm locking and finishing. So it's important Don't get caught up on the arm, rotating your hips, letting it pass, and then you can lock it up by leaning forward, locking, and sitting back. You don't have to pull your shin because you've already done that when you drove your knee in and you lock. Okay? Any questions? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, front triangle versus side triangle. Can you go on your knees real quick for me? So, when we talk about front triangle, you'll notice how the back of my knee is hooking here, and we're locking. On this one, side triangle means I'm here, and I'm locking. And there's a little bit of a gap underneath my knee. So we want to have that gap underneath our knee when we're doing this version. It's almost the exact same setup, right? So we're pinning here. So I'm grabbing this, but instead of pulling this up and driving my knee all the way over here, I'm going to cup this and I'm going to post my knee to the ground. So now as I start bringing my thigh up, I let his arm pass, and I could either pull this in, or I just bring my thigh, compress his head, and then I lock. And you'll notice how there's a gap right in the middle of the crook of my knee. But that's okay. Since this is a side triangle, all I do is I squeeze, that's it, it's there. Now, if I want to finish it and make it even worse, let's say he's not tapping, I'm going to fall to my back, arm is going to come all the way up. And you'll notice that there's a little bit of a gap here. So to make this stronger, we're going to find his fist, we're going to punch this to the ground, here, and then I squeeze, and then I finish. Because if I squeeze here, he has too much space where he won't tap. But as I push down on his arm, it makes the tension tighter, and then I squeeze, and then it finishes. So there has to be that gap underneath the crook of your knee in order to finish this. Let's go like this. So here, and 1 and 2. So this is the gap that I want right here. So I'm going to cup here, bring it in, let it pass. I can either pull this in or use my thigh to pull and then to lock. And there's a gap in front of my knee, but that's fine. I just squeeze and I finish. Or I fall all the way to my back, I grab his knuckles, pull it to the ground, and then I squeeze. Like that. So I'm going here and squeeze. One more time. Sorry, Fami, you good? One more. There we go. So, here. Walk, punch. 1 and 2. Post. I bring this across. I can pull, drive. Bring my knee up, let it pass. I can either pull and go, or I like to have my base. I bring my thigh up as I lock, and then I squeeze, and I finish. So there has to be this gap. This is a side triangle versus the one we did right before this was a front triangle. Okay? Any questions? Have some fun. Don't go to sleep. 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to do a reverse triangle. So the difference on this one is he's protecting this arm here. So I'm not scooping this up like this. So he's protecting it, which is fine. I can still walk, I'm cupping, driving, and I'm going 1, but make sure that you drive them to the side, and we're in 2, like this. So this is still effective, even if I don't have this arm trapped. So now, I'm gonna pummel on the inside, here, and I'm gonna cup my shin. So now there's a closed loop between here, so you can't pull out that arm. This one's gonna go from a post to a cup. I'm going to drive forward, I'm going to sit to my butt like this, and then I step over. My right hand has to control his chin as I fall to my right side, and I stomp, and I bring this through. 1 and 2. So now I have the closed loop, I'm going to release his chin, and then I can just finish by squeezing there, or going for like my arm bar, my wrist lock, you know, all your different variations from there. So I know there's a lot of different steps on this one. So same setup here. Well, the only difference is his arm is in front. So we're gonna pummel here and then trap like this. The hardest thing is probably, if you're taller, sitting to your butt. So you might have to drive forward to clear this and sit, right? stepping over with my right foot. And now I'm controlling his chin. Because if I can control where he looks, I can control where he moves. Because if I'm disconnected, he can always walk to his right side and he can spin, right? But if I'm controlling his chin, he can no longer walk to his right side because I can make him look to his left, right? So I'm gonna tilt, I stomp, and as I fall, I'm gonna chop down right here. This is important. Chop, I go over the top, and then I lock. Release, and I finish. And I'm keeping this as a close-up the whole time, because sometimes I don't want this to go in the way for him to defend, grabbing, whatever. Maria, can I? Okay. So she's defending here, so I'm going, I'm pinning, walking, I'm driving her to her side, and I'm here. So I can scoop in, trap, there. I want to drive forward, stick to my butt, and I'm cupping her armpit. Stepping over. I'm going to cup her chin so she doesn't look anywhere. I stomp as I tilt, clamp, over. Then I can release and then just finish my triangle there. One more time here, sorry. So I think the most important thing is the chin. The chin and the feet positioning is probably the most important. So we're here, I'm in, sorry. I'm gonna scoop this up and trap. So as I'm sitting, my foot positioning is important, and then my controlling the chin. I stomp, I fall, I clamp, lock, release, and then I finish. Okay. Any questions? I know it's a lot of steps, but when you get this one in training, it's so much control all the way through. Okay? 1, 2, 3.